slight chance for a shower, better chance for rain tomorrow. I'll have a look at that forecast coming up in a few more minutes. News 13 at 11 starts right now.
A major vote on whether to give tax credits to parents who send their children to private schools.
Robert Kittle will have that story, and tonight hear which school district is considering shortening its school year to save money.
Some local restaurants have a problem with a proposed recycling bill. I'm Mason Snyder. Why some owners feel they're being unfairly targeted. Coming up.
And we'll tell you how one baseball tournament has proven to be an economic grand slam for the Grand Strand.
Live from the WBTW News Center, this is News 13 at 11. Coverage you can count on.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy Redmond. Bob Juback has the night off. Thank you so much for joining us for coverage you can count on. First up tonight at 11, one of the most controversial debates at the State House appears to be over. The issue, should parents receive tax credits for sending their children to private schools? And if so, would that help schools because of competition or hurt them because of lost money? New at 11, News 13's Capitol reporter Robert Kittle explains what happened today in Columbia and how it could affect you and your family in tonight's top story.
Parents on both sides of the issue packed the Senate Education Committee's meeting to see what would happen with a private school choice bill. It would give parents tax credits to send their children to private schools and set up scholarships for low-income families. The main sponsor of the bill says it would improve our public schools.
When the forces of freedom and competition are introduced in a greater capacity in our K-12 public school system, we will have improvement in education.
But with no other discussion, the committee voted 10-6 against the bill. One big factor was the cost. The Board of Economic Advisors estimates that once all students were eligible for this, it would cost the state $133 million a year.
So I think all the conservatives saw that, and in support of all agencies in the public good of the state, they saw this bill could not go forward.
Most of the sponsors of the bill are conservatives, so we wanted to know why they would support a bill expected to cost so much while fighting other spending. Senator Grooms says the cost estimate is wrong.
It costs less to educate less children.
He says the bill would actually save the state money. After another year of defeat on the issue, parents who support it say schools won't get better.
They have an educational monopoly, and if they had competition in a totally free market system, they would have to improve.
Senator Grooms says he's not giving up, but another senator says after this vote, the issue is likely dead for the year. In Columbia, Robert Kittle, News 13.
Lawmakers have been debating this issue since first year Governor Mark Sanford took office. It was one of his top priorities, but he was never able to get it through the State House. And listen to this. Besides tax credits for parents who send their children to private schools, the bill would also give $1,000 tax credits for homeschooling expenses. Corporations and individuals would get tax credits for donating money to scholarships for low-income students as well. To qualify, students would have to be on free or reduced price lunch or on Medicaid. The Williamsburg County School District says it may have to shorten the number of days students attend class in order to save money. The board says shortening the school year should help cut the budget and decrease the amount of furlough days district teachers and administrators must take. Now, this is video from past meetings in the district. Right now, shortening the school year is just an idea. And we want to know from you about this issue. Just log on and take part in our News 13 Facebook poll. We want to know, what is the best way for school districts to save money? Is it shorten the school year, increase class size, or more teacher furloughs? Remember to vote. You must first be a fan of News 13 on Facebook. Folks along the Grand Strand are working together to make sure veterans know and understand the benefits available to them. Today, Eagle Crest Retirement Home held a seminar for vets and their families. The goal was to educate them on the financial services they can receive. Speakers say programs like the Aid and Assistance Program can provide hundreds of dollars to eligible participants.
So it's not as if the VA is just going to say, oh, look what we have for you. But they do have this, that if you do qualify and you meet the requirements that the VA is looking for, then yes, they will go ahead and provide these benefits for quality of life. And that's most important for the more mature crowd, where they need these to sustain the life that they've become used to.
And to meet eligibility, veterans must have served at least 90 days with 1 day during a declared war. Also, they must satisfy certain financial and health requirements. You can find more information about this on our website, scnow.com. Well, the push to make uniform beach rules across the Grand Strand took another step forward today. Horry County Council gave initial approval to an ordinance that would create these uniform rules. However, the ordinance does not allow for activities like surfing, horseback riding, and using golf carts except for in designated zones. The Sun News Report's Public Safety Director Paul Witten says those zones will be determined based on staff recommendations and then be presented at a future meeting. Again, today was only the first reading. The ordinance still needs second and third readings before it becomes law. Well, officials with the Northeastern Strategic Alliance, or NISA, have a strategy they say could bring thousands of jobs. Officials say they're trying to attract more distribution centers. Several already exist in the area, like QVC in Florence. NISA leaders say the area is good for distribution because of major highways like I-95. Plus, it has less traffic than major distribution cities like Atlanta.
I think we have all the things in place. It's a matter of taking advantage of the resources that we have, going out marketing, getting in front of the right folks, and getting to do business here.
Officials say the area's central location along the East Coast is also an advantage to help attract distributors. Well, today another search for missing New York teen Brittany Drexel took place, and this time it happened in the Myrtle Beach area. This week marks 2 years since Drexel disappeared. She was 17 years old at the time and hasn't been seen or heard from since. Today's search comes after investigators received a new tip in the case. Myrtle Beach Police Lieutenant Chuck Kapp says about 25 to 30 people searched in the Myrtle Beach area today, but nothing turned up. You may recall past searches for Drexel centered in or around Georgetown and Charleston counties. No word yet on if the search will continue tomorrow. Well, South Carolina Forestry Commission crews continue to work on a brush fire that ignited over the weekend. The original fire burned roughly 43 acres near International Drive and Carolina Bays Parkway on Sunday. Hot spots rekindled Monday afternoon and burned up to 40 more acres. Earlier today, South Carolina Forestry Commission officials said the fires were contained but not yet controlled. Firefighters will remain in the area to respond to any hot spots that may flare up. The cause of the fire is under investigation. 6 people were sent to the hospital today after an afternoon accident. The wreck involved 3 cars. It happened at the intersection of Glens Bay Road and 17 Bypass. Lance Corporal Sonny Collins with the Highway Patrol says a vehicle traveling north ran through a light and hit another car as it turned onto Glens Bay. Then that second vehicle hit a third car. Again, 6 people were taken to a hospital. No word yet on any of their conditions. Count on News 13 to keep you covered. Well, in the PD, a tractor trailer went off Interstate 95, killing the driver. The accident also happened this afternoon in the northbound lane of I-95 near mile marker 197 in Dillon County. The Highway Patrol says the truck caught fire after running off the road. Right now, we still don't have the victim's name, and the crash is under investigation. Taking a look now at tonight's crime tracker, it took a jury less than 5 minutes to rule the death of a 23-year-old Darlington man an accident. That decision was made tonight at a Darlington County coroner's inquest. Witnesses to the crime, first responders, and expert witnesses all testified during the proceedings. Again, a jury determined the death was an accident. You may remember Odom died after being shot in the head. Coroner Todd Hardy says the inquest was called to provide peace of mind for Odom's family.
The family could actually understand exactly what happened as best we know it, and that the boys would have an opportunity to tell their side of the story. That's basically why we do this tonight.
Now, coroner's inquests are fairly rare, but this is the second time one has taken place in Darlington in the last year. You can read more about this story in tomorrow morning's edition of the Morning News. Well, the Darlington County Sheriff's Office arrested 2 men in connection with a home invasion earlier this month. 21-year-old Jamario Addison and 19-year-old Dakim Coward are both charged with, among other things, attempted murder and armed robbery. Deputies believe the men broke into a mobile home back on April 1st. The men were captured Monday night as deputies actually investigated an unrelated shooting. Horry County Police need your help in identifying a suspect in an armed robbery. Police say a man held up the Circle K store in Surfside Beach last Monday, April 1st. Investigators say the man came into the store with a knife and demanded money. Police think the man got away in a white Ford Ranger. The suspect is described as a white man with short dark hair and a stocky build. He also has a tattoo that goes from the top of his left forearm down to his wrist. If you have any information about the identity of this man, please call Horry County Police. Well, recently, State Senator Ray Cleary proposed a bill that would require restaurants and bars with liquor licenses to recycle. News 13's Mason Snyder joins us new at 11 and explains why the bill gets support from recycling experts, but not so many restaurants. Mason?
Hey Wendy, a couple of weeks ago a group of restaurant owners met in Murrells Inlet to discuss the senator's bill. Senator Cleary was also at that meeting, and the general consensus was restaurants like the idea of recycling, but not necessarily all the responsibility that comes with it.
Watch it, watch it.
If you ask Charlie Campbell, he's all for recycling.
Listen, I'm from New Jersey. We were recycling back in the 70s.
But the owner of Dead Dog Saloon doesn't currently recycle at his restaurant, and he's got many reasons why.
It's going to cost us money. We're in a business with razor-thin margins. Food costs are through the roof, fuel costs are through the roof. And now we add this cost, there's going to be a lot of little bar restaurants up and down the Grand Strand that won't be able to bear this cost.
The bill would require alcohol-serving restaurants to recycle bottles and cans. Few places statewide handle glass and aluminum, but one local recycling company picks up restaurants' recyclables and says it can be done, and for close to the same cost as normal waste management.
They could reduce their dumpster. So really, if a restaurant recycles, not only could they recycle for the same amount, they just have to take the time to pay attention to what they're throwing away.
Another restaurant, Drunken Jack's, recycles everything from cardboard to bottles. They say the cost isn't much, plus recycling appeals to a new group of tourists.
The fastest growing segment of the tourism industry right now is ecotourism. Who are these people? They're the people who recycle. They're the ones that conserve energy. They're the ones that drive the hybrid.
But both restaurant owners agree it shouldn't just be them that are asked to recycle. Experts say restaurants do produce the most glass and aluminum to landfills, but these owners think the bill should include everyone.
It should be across the board statewide in all areas of business as well as residential.
Now, I spoke with Senator Cleary this afternoon. He tells me that he's not confident the bill will pass, that it could be because of the opposition, but Cleary does tell me that he doesn't plan to stop with his recycling efforts. Reporting tonight in the studio, Mason Snyder, News 13. Wendy?
All right, thank you, Mason. And don't forget, you can find Mason's story posted online at scnow.com. Now let's go ahead and check in with you, Frank.
Warm and humid out there today. Temperatures well into the 80s across our area. High temperature in Florence today, 87 degrees. Not quite a record, but getting awfully close. Along the Grand Strand, it was warm most places. North Myrtle Beach, a little bit cooler, still higher than normal at 80 degrees. I'll let you know about the cooler weather that's heading our way coming up in a few more minutes.
And still to come on the news at 11, looks like an area baseball tournament has several local businesses in full swing. We'll have that story and coverage you can count on continues. And hundreds of children came together today for a good cause. We'll tell you what that cause is and what message they tried to send.